Okay, this is a Bashracha Prat, a similar theme to the story we told on about the Rebbe Rashab. It's quite a shocking story because there's very few stories. Shocking. Not so many stories about, what's the Rebbe thinking and how a Rebbe is affected. Here's one of them.
What story of the Rebbe Rashab?
Huh? When we told you on the last story that he didn't give the bracha to the...
Right.
Yeah. That this is now in the actually word, as it were, you'll see. Let's tell the story. So, the source of this story, it's from Chassidic. I'm going to tell now, see this, the stories the Rebbe told over the years are very much the same stories over again. They're not elaborate, so I'm running out a little bit. I'll try and find it. So now I'm going back to we started stories that Chassidim related, some from Fidige Rebbe. Shluchim once came to the Alter Rebbe from a certain city and asking a rachamim and a bracha there should be rain. The entire region, they were suffering from a lack of rain, and they were all dealing with agriculture, and tremendous resources were invested in their livelihood. And he says that amongst in the community there were widows and orphans, and the whole parnasa was dependent on the ground and its yield. Al Rebbe didn't answer anything. Didn't answer. When they came in, he didn't answer. So they came out. They walked out of the Al Rebbe's room, broken and depressed and embittered, because in addition to their matzav, and now in Tsar, the Alter Rebbe didn't even respond to them. The next room to the Alter Rebbe was sitting his Einikol, the Tzemach Tzedek. And with him was the famous Gaon and Chassid, the Yitzchak Isaac Epstein Mihomel, called Rabbi Isaac Homler. And another Chassid from the Gedolei Chassidim, and all three of them were learning Bechavrusa. When they saw that the Shluchim, the Chassidim coming out of the Yechidus room of the Alter Rebbe, and they saw the face, and the great worry and the bitterness, so that Tzemach Tzedek says to them, because Bechlal, it's known, when Chassidim come out of the Rebbe, it's Besimcha Gedola, and there used to be the minhag going back. Minhag, it was spontaneous. It was called the Yechidus dance, the dance that the Chassidim danced after Yechidus. Besimcha Rabba, and he sees the exact opposite. The people said, a terrible tzara, if rain doesn't come, all the effort is in vain, and they are facing starvation. Now, the Rebbe didn't respond, didn't say anything. Tzemach Tzedek hears them out and says to them, wait a moment. He was obviously a young person. He says, right? Maybe I can help you. So Tzemach Tzedek calls the Alter Rebbe's Mishoros, his attendant, the Rabbi, and says to him, we are three people here at Bezdin. This is him, Rabbi Zal Homler, and the third Chassid. We're giving you a shlichus to tell the Alter Rebbe. And if you don't, as a Bezdin, will excommunicate you. Gzeras Nachash, Nidui, and so on. Shamta, and Nidui, Cherem, and Shamta. Excommunicate, which means here, this world, and the next world. She hears this. He says, go to the Alter Rebbe. He says, the Tzemach Tzedek can say exactly what I'm going to tell you. These are the words you should tell the Alter Rebbe. If you can do a toiva to these Yidden Begashmis and you don't want to, you're a thief. You're holding on to, you have a bracha you could give, you're holding on to it. I'm just telling you the words. You're a gazlan. Which is more than, it's a robber. More than a ganef is in stealth. It's a brazen thief, a robber. And if you can't help them, how did you take upon yourself to be the head of thousands of Yidden on the Ruchnius? Only the Ruchnius. And this is the quote. So the Mishoros was shocked to hear these words. He said, I can't say this to the Alter Rebbe. But Tzemach Tzedek looks at him, and he has no choice. He says, this is Bezdin. He's cut off. So he walked into Alter Rebbe's room and he's crying. And he says, I'm a shliach to tell the Rebbe, if I don't say the words I'm going to say, I'm beshamta through the bezdin of these three. He gave over the words that he was told to say, but that's a tzedek. So after this, the Alter Rebbe put his head, which was one to do, many stories, he put his head on his hands for a time, and the mamish v'ashrocha is connected to the mind, and the cloud, the sky becomes clouded. But then he picked up his head, put his head down a second time, and then it started to come down drops. Picked up his head, put his holy head again down on his hand, and then it came down, rain. He says for entire 24 hours it rained. After Tzemach Tzedek was for a young person, the years he was young, maybe a teenager, maybe even younger. Where did you learn such an eitzah? So he said it's from a Gemara Mefareshes. It's a Gemara in Tainus. The Gemara says there, towards the end, there's many stories about rain and the Amaroyim and Tanoyim and what happened. So once Rav Papa made a Gzeira, he decreed a fast day, which is what that's all Masechta deals with, fasting to get rain, and rain didn't come. He's fasting and he felt very weak. And so, this is what it says there. He ate a spoonful of daisa, grisen, like a porridge. So Rav Nachman bar Ushpiza said to him, and maybe if you'll eat another spoonful, the rain will come. He's mocking him. Yeah. This is So he felt very badly, and rain came. He felt so that Tzemach Tzedek said, it's a very strange story. Like mocking the other one. Have another spoonful, and maybe that's going to work. And even if it did happen, why would Rav Ashi, who was the compiler, Ravina Rav Ashi, why would he compile this and put this in the Gemara for eternity to learn? If it's in the Gemara, it means it's a lesson to be learned. But the Indian it's like Sir Papa was a tzaddik adoy. It's similar to a story the Rebbe tells in the Maimer, the Baal Shem Tov, the previous Maimer. It's connected to So sometimes the tzaddik adoy is no shaykhs to the world. He just can't affect anything because he's a state of disconnect. And therefore, when you cause them, I'm just quoting friends, Chalishis hadas umisgorim, but you cause him literally a weakening of the mind, and you nettle him, so you bring him down. You bring him down to his shaykhs to the world, and then he can be peil a teivet elam in elam hazeh. And that's the meaning of the story of Rav Nachman and Rav Papa, and that's what the Tzemach Tzedek got his eitzah to nettle, to stir the Alter Rebbe and bring him down to the world. What's interesting is that in my Maimorim of Lag BaOmer, we find the opposite also. That the Maimorim of Lag BaOmer explain all the tremendous praises that are given to Rashbi, that are said about him. He even said about it himself. And why the praises also to be mamshich. They're praising him, and mamshich is Indian into the world. So depending on the matzav, it seems that sometimes it has to be through praises, and other matzavim, which we don't know, it's on the contrary. The uniqueness of Rashbi as opposed to even others. Because he was so high, they had to praise him and bring him down. We found this by the Rebbe also. I don't want to elaborate, but something that was the Rebbe said, we don't know what's going on behind closed doors. We don't know. But there were Chassidim, the Rebbe expressed displeasure very often. Privately, there were certain Chassidim that have expressed his quote-unquote frustration with what's going on. One of them was Reb Zalman Gerari, Rabbi Shemaiah's father. Some people had a certain closeness. They were a handful, less than a handful. And so he entered the Rebbetzin as well. But sometimes they would either speak the Milas of Yidden, or like the story with the Rebbetzin was when the Rebbe was very, very upset when his Svarim came back and people were out on the street. Very upset. We never saw. I was not there. Thank God I was in something. What? There's a video. There's a video, yeah. It's terrifying. I was inside 770, thank God. They never saw the Rebbe in such a matzav. terrible. And what are you doing outside? And this was the whole Notzach. Anyway, so they say that the Rebbe said to him later, so what do you want from them? They're celebrating in your simcha. Anyway, that's the story. The Yerah for us is also sometimes, there's two ways to bring out the best in ourselves or in another. Sometimes it has to be through positive affirmation, and sometimes it has to be a little bit to needle a little bit, to provoke. And in the provocation, this brings out the best in us and connect with the Alter Rebbe, and the bracha of rain came and they were blessed with abundance. A wonderful Shabbos, everybody. Should be the real nemesis Shabbos. Yom Shekol Shabbos, Mashiach's arrival without delay. And if not, God forbid, we make our plans and we hope that they're going to be come to naught. As we will do, we will Fabrengen right after, little in time, but hopefully big in connection and in effect right after davening tomorrow. Yeah, the difference will be that I won't be speaking, thank God. All right, have a wonderful day. Good Shabbos.